And this is actually from a reference photograph that I took in Lytham, St Anne's. If you've been there here in the UK, it's not too far from Blackpool, maybe 6 miles or something down the coast. And you got this really nice lighthouse, which, as you can see, previously painted. And I just think it's one of those paintings that I've done that I can maybe do something with, maybe add to it. So hopefully I can just enhance what's already there. There's not really too much that needs doing to this scene. As you can see, I'm quite happy with the composition, the painting itself. But I just think I can go in and it's quite a nice painting, and hopefully something that you will enjoy seeing the painting process as I continue with this, and just add a little bit just to enhance this painting. So for the materials I'm going to use today, I'm using my butcher's tray. These are M. Graham's and some Jackson's professional grade watercolor. So it's just going to be nice and easy for me using a Hague brush as well. Let me show you. Just using a Hague brush, so it's quite a large brush, does hold quite a lot of water in this brush. And I just want to, you can see there's a lot of granulation in this painting. I'm not sure whether I like that or not. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you like the granulation. Not sure what paints I did use for this painting, but you can see really granulated. I'm thinking that it's probably Schminke Horadam, because you do get a nice really nice granulation with those paints. So first off, I'm just tapping into some of the French ultramarine. I want to just go in and darken just the top of the sky, like so, and I can go over the whole sort of area. The top of the windmill is dark, so I'm not going to affect that at all. And yeah, so I'm just going to go in just with this darker wash. So you can see it does offer something. And one of the things that has happened is my box easel has given up the ghost. So it is more of a more sort of laid down. It's just one of those things. I've been using this easel for quite some time, and one of the I don't know what they're called, the sort of things that you angle it with, has broke completely. So I'm just going to go ahead. I would have it more of an angle. I think I do have another easel somewhere, so maybe I'll get that out and start using that. Otherwise, I'm just going to have something to prop up my paintings as I do them. Now, I do want to mix. I see there's a nice cast shadow on, not cast shadow, more of a just the shadow, the light coming in on the left hand side. So let me mix up a little bit of that French ultramarine and just show you this. So a bit of French ultramarine and a little bit of pyro red. So I want a little purple sort of cast, purple tone. I'm going to go down, add something to this shadow side. So with a little bit of water now, I want to blend that. So it's a soft transition. That's quite nice. There we go. I think I will just go in a little bit further with this shadow. It's quite nice, and I want it quite straight. And so there we go. Just a little enhancement to that, and I'm just bringing that even further. There we go, like so. So I will be adding more to the shadow areas, sort of this purple mix, just using French ultramarine and the pyro red. So I'm just going in, and I want some of these areas are quite light as well, so I don't want to take away from that any, like this sort of it's like a step going up to this windmill, so I don't want to detract from that. I want that to stay quite bright, quite in the light. I'm wondering whether to add, in fact I'm going to add some deeper green to this bit of grass. It's a really nice place in Lytham, and it was really caught it on a really nice sunny day, as you can see, real blue skies and just a really nice day. We do like going to Lytham. We do prefer it more over Blackpool, but it's just on that same coast. But it's never that busy. Let me just set that out. See, just a little mistake there. I've gone onto that. I can take that out, that's no problem. So it is handy to have some tissue or something to take out pigment if you do make a mistake like I just did. Go too far up or somewhere where you don't want to cover, you can just take that out with tissue or something, if you get it at the right time anyway. You can probably still lift it if using a wet brush. You can go in and lift those as well. Now you can see, I don't know why, but sometimes the paper that you may use, I don't know whether you get this sort of thing, maybe a problem with the sizing of the paper, and there's sort of marks on the paper itself. There's not much you can do with that. You can see just these little, I don't know what they are, just where the paint doesn't take properly. I don't know whether you've experienced that yourself, if you're painting watercolor using different papers. Sometimes this happens, but hopefully it's not too much of a distraction anyway. I'm gonna get a smaller brush now. I just want to work on this bit of the cast shadow. This is a cast shadow of the what they call them, the windmill. I don't know what they call them. If you know what they're called, drop us a comment. So I don't actually know what they're called. Like propellers, I don't know. So I'm just going in, just straighten up, just tidy this little cast shadow, and I probably will do a little bit more on there just to get a better, more cleaner sort of shadow. I'm going to bring that down to the bottom, the side of the windmill, so it just looks a little bit better. And I think what I'm going to do in this composition is add some pen and ink, just to straighten up and just give a bit more clarity to these windmill, let's call them propellers. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they're called, the technical term. But I'm just going to go in and just add a little bit to this. If you are watching, just pop us a comment, say hi. And also I would appreciate if you drop us a like as well, just to help the algorithm push my channel out to more people. I know you probably heard it said quite a lot with YouTube creators, but it really does make a difference. The more people that interact, either comments or drop likes, it really does help, especially small channels, the smaller channels like mine. It just helps the algorithm push out to more people, so your videos get shared a little bit more to different people. And I'm still trying to build up a community. I do have some really nice people who follow, who are part of this community. So if you want to join that, then just hit the subscribe, drop us a comment, drop us a like, and if you just want to come on and say hi, then please do. Let me know where you're from, where you're watching from. It's really nice to get people from all over the world on their YouTube, which is quite unique. I really like that. I'm just going to grab a smaller brush now. I do think that this area of trees can benefit somewhat. Let me move the camera a little bit, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of sap green and not French ultramarine, a bit of yellow ochre, just to add a bit more definition to these trees. Just doing little bits here and there, just to, because it's just one solid color. I want to get something, separate those trees a little bit, and just offer something quite nice in this area. So it don't really matter. I mean, it don't really matter if you don't want too much detail there, because the focal point, the actual main focal point, is obviously the windmill. So anything that you add apart from the windmill in the background is just there to offer something nice in the background and just lead your eye into the main focal point. So whether you're painting buildings, whether you're painting landscape or anything like that, you want something quite nice in the background, lead your eye into the main focal point, and that does bring your eye in nicely. Now I'm just adding a little bit of blue to that sap green, a little bit of French ultramarine. I want something quite dark, so let me get some nice contrasting colors now. Just add them in wet on wet. So it is still a bit wet, this paint I've just put down. And that's not gonna, it's just gonna nicely soften and give me the look that I'm after. So there we go. It just does add a little bit more interest than it was before. So I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy to leave that for now. I may add some more sort of details, maybe some pen in that area. That's maybe later on in the painting stage. And I can actually just add some details. I think these are buildings in the background. You can see I've painted them quite loose. It's quite a loose painting when I did originally. And so the purpose of this is just to tighten up here and there, just a few places, just to improve things. And I do this with a few of my paintings, just when I see that there's a painting that I kind of like and think that it could benefit from just a little bit of work, then that's what I'm doing for these lives as well. So it's nice to see. And if you're anything like me, I've got lots of paintings I've done in the last few years, and sometimes I look at them and think, why didn't I add this or that? Maybe there's something, I can do to improve. Let me just move that camera. So I'm just going to go in and add something to these. There's some buildings, roofs and things in the background, which are really nice. And I think definitely add a little bit to those just to get a nicer complete composition. You can see just got a bit of buckle in now. The paper's sort of warping with the wet surface, the water that I've added, or the paint with the water. I'm just straightening up some of these edges. I am gonna just get these a little bit more crisp, a bit more precise. I think that will add something to the scene. So don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Let me know where you're from. Come in and say hi. It's still quite a new thing for me, these live streams. And so I am trying to build up a little following. Usually I do Tuesdays. But at the moment, I just paint. I do videos for YouTube as and when I can. So I went from once a week, sort of every Monday, doing a normal long form video, to just painting when I can. It's a bit more often now, so I am grateful for you being here and watching. Just adding something to those roofs. Quite nice. And I'll just bring these together a little bit, just give it more pleasing finish. I think I will go in with a pen just to straighten edges and things like that. It is a bit more difficult with a brush. If you do find it more difficult like me, then a pen, drawing pens are really good for that. I do have quite a few sets of drawing pens. In fact, I'm going to go in now, and these are the pens that I use. These are the sort of pens, drawing pens, and this is size 0.5. So there's quite a good nib on it, and I'm just going to let me tidy up these windows. And these windows are sort of, I think they're boarded up or something like that. So I'm just going to go in. It's still a little bit wet, but I'm going to go in anyway. And just try and get straighter edges. I'm saying that, I'm making it worse. It doesn't matter too much. You don't have to be too precise or perfect. Just after enhancing the painting. And I think I did actually do these with a bit of ink as well before. So it's more difficult when you're doing these live streams. You can't sort of take your time or labor too much. You just want to get these details the best I can while I'm filming. And let's see, there we go, that's one. Let me improve this second window. So just drawing, just going over the outlines, just to clarify some of those edges, give them more of a straight, not after perfection, but something a little bit better than what I had. Oh, see, I do stand up for these paintings, so maybe if you're painting along, or if you do your paintings, maybe it's better to sit down, maybe use a ruler, something like that, just to get more of a definite straight edge. I know it's one of the things that can affect the painting if you don't get these nice and sharp edges. And that's why I'm using the pen, just to give me a bit more control. That has added a little bit more to the scene. I think I'm gonna just go along and use the pen to add a little bit more structure to these windmill. I wish I knew what they were called. If someone's here who knows what they're called, just drop us a comment. Let me know what the technical name for them is, what they're called. These windmill, I don't know I'm out. I really don't know. Just that in. There we go. Go along and strengthen this line. And you can see the way the paper's buckled a little bit. Sometimes it is a bit of a challenge if you're painting on this buckled paper. Those things, and I'm gonna add a little bit to this. I think it's a door. I can't remember. I don't know where the reference has gone. Where that is. I've got it somewhere, I think. Yeah, so I'm just filling these areas in, making some of it up as well because I don't have the reference to hand. So just bring that down. And I think there's probably, see a line there, so I'm just going to add that, maybe come down. There we go. I don't know, I'm just adding these things without knowing exactly what's going on in the area. But that's fine, you know, you can use your references, you can go exact, you can copy the scene, or you can just go in and just improvise a lot of areas. You can get your main structures down. If you're doing from a reference, you can get your main structures down and then you can just make things up as you go along as well. Nothing wrong with that. And then you can base it on the reference. So I'm gonna maybe leave these white areas just to separate the buildings, that sort of thing. Just gonna just define these shapes, and that's all they are. That's what I'm treating them as. These are buildings in the background. Just a really big sort of playing field, and then this windmill, and then in the background along the front you got these, there's even a church somewhere in the background. I don't know whether this is one of these is the church, but you do have that in this area. I don't know what this windmill's called. It's got a plaque on it or something, I'm not sure. But I'm just adding these lines just to give it a little definition. And you can see how that, I think that adds to it. Let me know what you think. I think it looks quite nice, that. Maybe I can straighten some of these up just using the pen to give it more definition, more of an edge. So again, I'm not too worried about exact details. I just want to really just help this composition, just give it a little more clarity. There's not a lot really to do on this to improve, but I think it definitely needs a little work on it. Now in watercolor, you can always leave these little white areas. Could be nothing in particular, but it is nice. It just gives that watercolor feel to it when you have these just unpainted little pockets, and it is quite nice. So there we go. I'm going to darken this area. Let me see if I've got a dark, a bigger pen. So this is 0.8. So I want to cover this with a larger tip pen. And again, like I said, this area, I'm not sure. I don't know the reference. I don't know what this is, but I'm guessing it's some sort of door. And I did have a little line going across, so I'm presuming it comes out from the windmill, a little entrance. So I'm just covering this with ink. I am a fan of using ink in my watercolor paintings, so they really do offer something nice. When you've got these, when you paint landscapes or whatever you paint, it's just nice with the pen because it gives a little bit of detail, especially in the foreground. It gives a lot more definition, a bit more solid sort of things going on. And so that's what I'm doing here. Very quiet today. Someone let me know what you think in the comments. Have you been to this place? Do you know where it is? In the north of England. It's actually Lytham. Just a bit further up the coast than we normally go. And it's a really nice windmill. So I think I'm going to go in and just clarify some of these shadow. Whether this is right or not, just let me know. But it does make it a bit more solid, the shadow. Maybe I will go in and cover the whole bit of the shadow. I'm not sure. Maybe the pen's wrong. Not too fussed. I'm gonna just lightly offer a little bit to these shadows that are cast upon the solid structure of the windmill. And let's see what we can do. I think I can actually, I'm thinking to add, I'm just gonna cover this, make it a bit more flat, a bit more solid, the grass leading up to the platform of this windmill. So I'm just gonna thank you for the like, whoever's dropped that like. Do appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Like I said, I do usually do these live streams on a Tuesday. I might do another one tomorrow. And I'll post in the community and let you know if I do. Probably will. So if you're here for this live and you got time tomorrow to pop in and watch another live, maybe find another painting that I think would benefit, then I may do that. It's just nice, these lives, because you get a chance to interact and say hello and leave your comments and things like that. So I just want, this is going a bit, just want to straighten that. It is one of my struggles getting these straight lines with a brush, because the brush is, the brush moves, and so that's why I do like the pens in particular. There we go. That's, yeah, I think that's giving it a little bit of clarity. Now, again, with the sap green and yellow ochre, I'm just going into this little area. So this is again where the grass is going into the background. So just a little bit on this side as well. Let me move the camera again. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just coming down. So what do you do with these? You can see, just, I don't know what it is, when the sizing of the paper, there's maybe a fault in the machine where the sizing's done. But like I said, sometimes you get these little, almost like fingerprints, a little bit where the watercolor doesn't take very well, and it leaves a little mark on your paper. So in a normal landscape, you could cover this by adding a tree or a bush or something like that. Or if it's in the sky area, you could add maybe a couple of birds, that sort of thing. But it's just annoying when that happens, and you just got to sort of work around it. I don't know. But if you have any suggestions, then please do let me know. It would be nice to know your thoughts if you have had paper and it's done that. Oh, hi Susan, how are you doing? Nice to see you here on the live. What time is it there in the States? I think it's probably late. I don't know which state you're from, but it's probably quite late, I should imagine. And getting ready for work. It's 6 a.m. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a nice day at work. Thank you for joining, even if it's briefly. I do appreciate you popping in, and obviously the support that you do give me, suggestions, things like that. And I am going to contact some paper companies, I think. Why not? Now, I think I do need to go in with a bit of pen. Now I could ruin this. See, that's dry, but the paper underneath isn't. Okay. I'm gonna go in and add slowly a little. I don't think this is gonna work. Let me, if I grab something I can use. I'm gonna grab something just to draw along, because this is where I could ruin things. So let me use this as a ruler. I say that, I'll probably ruin it anyway, but here it goes. Oh, see, I have done a bit. I can cover that with some more pen, it doesn't matter. Not letting it spoil it too much. So that's given a little, the steps moving, going up to the windmill. So I'm just going to do another. There we go. Okay. So that gives a little definition. And there's this here, which I'm going to see if I can lift some of this. It was done when I came to the painting. I'd already done this, and I just think this shadow here sort of goes up and it's not correct. So let me see if I can lift some of that, and that's just with a brush and some clean water. Is this a windmill around your area? Yeah, it is, Susan. It's just not far from me. We have Blackpool, and then just up the road from Blackpool there's this place called Lytham St Anne's, which we do like to spend some days there when it's nice, we like to drive over there. It's about 40 minutes, 50 minutes from where I live. So it's definitely a nice day out when it's nice and sunny. I need to just lift a bit. See if I can lift a bit more of that. So yeah, Susan, it's a nice place. We do like to go there, and we do know the fish and chip shop there, which is quite nice. Getting fish and chips just by the coast. So yeah, that's where it is. I think I'm gonna go, and this is not part of the reference, but I think I'm just gonna darken with some sap green and a little bit of French ultramarine. I'm just gonna add some texture to the bottom. See if I can cover this where the sizing of the paper's given a little problem there. Just to rectify that, and I can go a little bit darker as well using the not the fan brush. What am I talking about? Using the hake. This is my smaller hake. I think it's a 1-inch hake, which I do love to use, just to get some little details in this grass here. Now you could bring it all the way up. I think I'm going to go just there. And there we go, just to cover, you know, it does cause a problem sometimes, but it's more fixable if it happens on the bottom of your paper, so where the foreground is. If it happens in the sky, then it can cause a bit more problem for the painting, but I'm lucky that it's just in that area there. Yeah, I think it's looking quite okay. I think I'm getting there. Maybe I can see this area now, could do a lifting. So this, obviously this is like a level of the sort of step. I don't want to take this bit of paint out here. And if you are taking paint out, if you're lifting with your brush, then sometimes it is better. I would suggest a stiffer brush. This isn't working too good for me. I don't have any stiffer brushes. These are all sort of natural hair or mix hair brushes, which give that floppy brush. So it's harder to lift out. You want something a bit more synthetic. You could use a synthetic brush to sort of scrub the surface without damaging the paper, and then you'll get a nice lift from that. You can lift the pigment quite easily. So I do prefer these brushes, but if you are lifting, then definitely a stiffer brush is better for that. Shadows of the windmill arm. Yeah, windmill arms, is that what they're called? I don't know what these sort of things are called. But yeah, arms, I suppose, that, you know, you'd know what they are if I said the windmill arms. I did say propellers, but they're not really propellers. Are they sails? I don't know. I know sometimes you get these windmills and they've got like a solid, the solid ones, but this one is like a, I don't even know what to call it, Susan. But yeah, just going with that. But yeah, just a few details, and I think maybe I'm gonna add a little bit more sort of shadow, a bit more solid, sort of dark to the far right hand side. So let me see how that goes. I might destroy it now. Let's see. So just a bit of the French ultramarine, a bit of Payne's grey, and I'm coming down. There we go. And then obviously just add a bit of plain water to touch that, to just give it a little soft edge. don't forget this building's round, and so you do want the shadows to sort of, as it comes around, you want it to sort of fade and become, as it comes to the light side, and you got the full light on that. So I'm leaving that part white. So there we go. Okay. Let me bring you back over. There we go. I think I'm quite happy with that. It's just a quick one, this live, just to get a little bit more definition, a little bit more clarity to this windmill. So I hope you do like it. I'm just in an area now, just in a little bit that I can take out if it works. I can take this. Yeah, I do need some stiffer brushes because that isn't lifting too well. So you scrub with a bit of, no, it's not going to work. But yeah, I think you get the idea. Thank you, Susan. I really do appreciate that. If you've not hit the like, please do give us a like. But I think I'm happy with that-ish. It certainly does look a little bit better than what it did. And so that's the purpose of this one today. Let me just remove the tape. You can see some of the paints come through the tape, which it happens. But to improve the painting, it definitely has done that, which is what I wanted. So it just does add a little bit of something to the painting, the overall scene. Let me know what you think in the comment section. In fact, I can just soften that. You can see where the tape's been. Not a problem, but just add some water to that so it does blend a little bit. But yeah, that's it. I do thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, reminding me that I always enjoy the work and forget to hit that thumbs up. Oh, yeah, Susan, that, I think we're all guilty of that. It's just a matter of creating one of those habits. If you're watching a video, if you do enjoy it, just do hit that thumbs up, and it really does help us, help us content creators out there. But that's it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you like this one. If you do have paintings that you think would benefit from adding further details, then that's one thing you can do. Yep. See you on the next one. Yep. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for being here. You're the other one that's left some chats. So I do appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next. Take care. Bye-bye.